of those 5,000 people, 2,500 of them don't like music at all. You want to put some...
Canada, you are absolutely perfect this time of year. That's why I'm coming to the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. Halifax, August 9th. Spokane, not technically Canada, but we'll say it is, August 23rd. Calgary, August 24th. And Vancouver, September 12th. It's me, Whitney Cummings, Miss Pat, Fortune Feemster, and Derek Stroop. Get your tickets at bertbertbert.com. I'll see you there. The Permission to Party World Tour kicks off September 18th in Rockford, Illinois, the 19th in Milwaukee, the 20th in St. Paul, Minnesota, the 21st in Duluth, Minnesota, followed by Eugene, Oregon, September 28th. Avoid scalpers and go to bertbertbert.com to get your lowest ticket price. This is the surrealest moment of my life. I'm telling you when I say I have been a fan of yours since 1991, I'm guessing. When the band then was Distant Relatives, right? No, right?
Woodpeckers,
yeah. Then Distant Relatives, then Brighter Shade.
Yeah.
So, and now, and my favorite part of this whole story is I was doing a show for Travel Channel. We were at the CMT Awards or whatever it was in Nashville. You were with the Zac Brown Band, your band, and you were all in a golf cart, and I saw you in the stadium when we were in a separate golf cart going the other way, and I yelled out "Distant Relatives," and you turned around like, "What the fuck?" Right. And I was like, I was like, dude, that's my favorite musician. That
blows my mind, but I love it, and thank you for that. I mean, I remember that moment too, because I was like, "What the fuck?" Because it was just like. No one remembers Distant Relatives, especially compared to the Zac Brown Band. So that was I brought the Distant Relatives CD.
I have a few songs that are like anthems for me, and one of my favorite songs, I've told you this, is "Lazy Man."
Yeah,
it was one of my favorite songs in the world. I feel like it never got the opportunity it should have gotten to be the biggest song in the world.
Wow. I mean, I always felt like it was a sleeper hit. You know, a lot of people really loved it back in the day, and a lot of people now don't even know about it. But I saw you listening to it on Instagram, and that's when I reached out, and because. We were there at the same time, but we didn't hang out.
No, I knew Sonny better than you. I met you a couple times.
Yeah.
But I knew Sonny. Sonny was a KA. Sonny was an interesting guy. He was a great guitarist.
Great guitar player.
And then he went on to do, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he went on to write for a scuba magazine.
He did. Sport Diver, I think.
Yeah.
And he's one of my best friends in the world. And while we don't get to see each other, Sonny and I came up in music and learned that we could actually exist in this plane as musicians. And when he was ready to leave Sport Diver, I actually drove to Orlando and picked him up and moved him to Atlanta. He's here now.
He's living in Atlanta?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
So, Sonny, this is going to be like a deep cut podcast. If you lived in Tallahassee in the 90s, you're going to go, this is the greatest podcast I've ever listened to. Now, we are also going to talk about the Zac Brown Band. We're going to talk about ALS. I now know more about ALS because of you. I remember in 2021 when you got diagnosed and you sent out an email to, I think, friends and family, and I was in that group, and I was like, holy shit. But I don't think you would disclose at the time what it was. You're talking about it now. You've got Hop on a Cure is your foundation. You've generated, I forget the right way to say it, but like over like $4 million.
Granted $4 million for research to different organizations. We're trying to pick the very best programs that come across our desk.
Yeah.
And that can be a challenge, but
we'll get to that. I want to talk about, so like, So Brighter Shade, I'm going to refer to all the iterations as Brighter Shade. Brighter Shade informed my music taste. Because like in college, I'm gonna be talking a little shit in this. But by the way, once again, you only had to live in Tallahassee or Gainesville probably in the 90s, and you get this. I remember there was a band called Spider Monkey. Do you remember Spider Monkey? And I remember sitting with Sonny and you at Yanni's at a table. And I said, "What do you guys think of Spider Monkey?" And Sonny's like, "Eh." I was like, "Really?" He goes, "It's catchy and it's poppy, but it's not what music's about." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, and by the way, I apologize, Sonny, if I'm throwing you under the bus, but he was like, "It's a great live show. It's fun, but it's not rich." And I couldn't understand it. And then because of that, and we were just talking about Kevin Kinney, Driving Crime was a huge band at the time. But that whole genre of music that you were a part of, and you now are still a part of, and that whole, and I say jam band as adjacent with country music and bluegrass.
Totally.
That became the direction I leaned in.
Yeah.
And but I'm curious, how did you get there? You grew up in Gainesville, right?
Gainesville, Georgia.
Yeah.
So most people think Gainesville, Florida, because they went to Florida State, but Gainesville, Georgia is 40 minutes from Athens, and I went to Georgia first. I'm 2 years older than you, I believe, and I transferred to FSU in 91. So Sonny was already doing, he was working at the First, and I know.
I was at the last Bladder Bust at the First.
Oh, really?
It ended in 91. In the summer of 91, they had a Bladder Bust, and we got in. It was the very last one. The place was closing. No one was getting. No one even checked IDs.
Yeah.
And they had dudes at the bathroom. A Bladder Bust. You know what a Bladder Bust is, Pete? Bladder Bust is you can drink for free until the first person pisses.
Someone goes.
Anyone uses the bathroom, you got to start paying for drinks.
I mean, people are trying to piss in Coke bottles and like, I mean, don't be the first one. I went to the First when I went to visit, and we shot pool at lunchtime.
Yeah.
But I didn't party there. And my band, the Woodpeckers, had a standing gig there before I was in it. And they were called Crossroads, I think. And two of the guys from that band and me and Sonny formed the Woodpeckers. But it was a party time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when did you, what was, because it's kind of crazy.
Oh, yeah. You said Gainesville.
Yeah.
Like I said, Athens is 40 minutes away. I was into Driving and Crying and Widespread and REM, all of that in high school. So in the 80s, in the late 80s, my first rock band played U2 and REM covers and a smattering of other popular stuff at the time. While we were trying to write music at 16 and 17. And it was terrible, of course, but you learn from that. And then I moved to Athens, and I didn't like Athens because it was like 13th grade for me. Yeah. Like everyone I knew was there. And I 2 years later went to Florida State to pursue theater, and I knew one person, and I was like, okay, this is better. I can stretch out.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I was always the kid was like, I want to go where everyone I know is.
It got old for me because I was looking to recreate myself a little bit. Yeah. So I would be on the bus on Millage Avenue and be like, hey, you know.
Yeah.
And the old Boy Scout me wanted to be an creative, and it was tricky to bridge that gap. But Athens, the town, was very nurturing for creative minds, and I was just in the wrong place. But I learned a lot about music in Athens and from friends. I mean, from high school, you start playing guitar and and everyone's teaching each other chords, and it becomes pretty organic.
How accessible were the bands then? Because you were very accessible to me. Like,
Yeah.
And you were probably the biggest band in the time. I'd say one of the biggest bands in Florida. I mean, that's all I knew about the stretch. Was like you were definitely the biggest band in Tallahassee, and you and Zombie
Birdhouse.
Zombie Birdhouse.
Yeah.
Zombie
Who
Birdhouse.
I still talk to.
For real?
Yeah. I mean, these are lifelong friendships, and I'm so glad to reconnect with you. But everyone just gets busy, but we don't change that much. And when we reconnect, it's really exciting to.
Oh, it's my favorite. I think it's because I'm getting older.
Yeah.
And I've already done what we could argue is more than half of my life, and things are very precious to me now.
Yeah.
Like I really, you said one time one of the symptoms of ALS is if you start crying, it becomes uncontrollable. I think I might have ALS because I cry so quickly and uncontrollably.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, we can go into that, but
it's cool to have these.
I'm emotional anyway.
Yeah.
And that's why I got in this creative space. And my degree is in theater, so I tell people I've been acting like a musician for a long time. And it's sometimes it feels that way. Like the music has always come naturally to me, and the acting I had to work really hard on. So it feels like the music is just a way for me to take on another character.
When did you become confident as a musician? Because I know that as a comic, I am very confident now, but for a very long time I was always terrified. I only know you as a confident musician.
Yeah, I would argue that I was a confident singer when I was 3 years old, but as a guitar player and instrumentalist, my confidence is super low because I've always used them as tools. And I never sat in my bedroom and shredded for hours and hours in practice. I got to where I could make the idea in my head come across, and then I made that happen and moved on.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty confident as a front man. These days I'm more of a comic than I am a singer. I'll have people hanging on every word in a songwriter room, and I've played like 4 songs and it's been an hour, and I'm just talking shit the whole time. But I mean, that's part of it. That's part of the singer-songwriter gig, is being able to communicate between songs. So my confidence level instrumentally has always been real low, but I'm very comfortable in front of people.
Guys, enter the room dick first. God, that's a great statement. Blue Chew isn't just a tablet. It's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, and longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. And buddy, these things work. I'll tell you right now, and this is going to be a tad bit aggressive, there's nothing better than having a hard dick all day than thinking about the sex you know is coming. And the thing about these is you take one and perform, or you can take one and just be ready for when the opportunity arises, like I did yesterday. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Little sunset Blue Chew, and then all of a sudden dinner, flirt at dinner, take it to the bedroom, buddy, put it down like a champion. Guys, this isn't about performance. This is about legacy or third legacy. Give her group chat something to talk about. When you lay it down, they're going to talk about how it gets up. Nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. As always, you get your first month of Blue Chew for free. Just use promo code Bertcast at checkout, and you pay $5 for shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to BlueChew.com for details and important safety information. And thank you, big thanks to Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast. Time for some life talk, life insurance talk, that is. You probably have it, but do you know how much you're paying for it and for how much you're being covered? Odds are you paid too much for too little. And did you know if you receive life insurance through your job and you're unexpectedly laid off, you could suddenly be covered for nothing? Scary to think about, but simple to get, right? Thanks to SelectQuote, where I'm headed to sort out my life insurance policy today. For over 40 years, SelectQuote has been one of the most trusted brokers in insurance, helping more than 2 million Americans secure over $700 billion in coverage. Their mission is simple: to find you the right insurance policy for your unique needs. They shop, you save. Unlike other one-size-fits-all life insurance companies, SelectQuote's licensed agent works for you. In as little as 15 minutes, they'll compare policies from the top-rated carriers to find you the best fit for your health and your budget. They work for you for free. No medical exam? No problem. They partner with providers offering same-day coverage up to $2 million without needing to visit your doctor. Have high blood pressure, diabetes, or heart disease? SelectQuote has partners with policies designed for many pre-existing health conditions, so you get the protection you deserve. Let me tell you something. If you got loved ones, make sure that you are taking care of this right now, because one day, I know we don't believe it, but we won't be here, and they will. And you need to make sure that they don't have anything to worry about. Get the right life insurance for you for less and save more than 50% at selectquote.com/Bert. Save more than 50% on term life insurance at selectquote.com/Bert today to get started. That's selectquote.com/Bert. My memories are weird because sometimes I wonder if they're real or not, but I'm almost dead certain that my last day right before I moved to New York, I was in Tallahassee, and I was at the Publix down on, it was on Pensacola.
Yeah.
And I bumped into the entire band of Creed. And I said, and I knew Mark Tremonti, despite, and by the way, all props to Mark Tremonti, despite Mark Tremonti saying he's never met me. We were in the same fraternity. I know. It's crazy, like, because once you get famous, your narrative is your narrative, right? And I understand that now. Yeah. And there's people that go, I grew up with Bert, and I don't remember them. Yeah. And I go, I'm not going to deny that, but whatever. Yeah. But I was in the same fraternity as Mark Tremonti. I bumped into the entire band. Now, if this is real, I don't know. But I bumped into the entire band. I want to say they were standing like they were taking a band photo. We were at the bread aisle.
At Publix.
And I said, what are you guys doing? And they were like, we're moving. I think they said they were moving to Atlanta or something. And they were moving. They got
Orlando.
They had gotten a deal with the same people who had Sister Hazel.
Yeah.
And they had a deal, and they were going to, try to make it. And I was like,
and Jeff Hansen was their manager, I think.
Yeah, did Jeff Hansen run the Down Under or something?
Yeah, the Down Under was on campus. He did Floyd's, and all that stuff that happened there. He kind of controlled that space for a while, but he was promoting concerts in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
And he had Club 506. I don't know if you were there then.
Yes. Schmitty worked for him.
Yeah.
And Schmitty was an SAE.
Yeah.
And I knew Schmitty. God, this is like, and then I was like, wow. And then I was like, we'll never hear from that band again. And then next thing you know.
Little did we know
they would be, they're having this great resurgence right now, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
But
they're all great guys. I'm in touch with them too.
Scott, I'm probably closest with Scott, despite the fact that Mark Tremonti and I were in the same fraternity. I knew Mark. I gave him his nickname in our fraternity, and we were in a band together. We were, and he doesn't recall this, but you'll never forget being in a band with Mark Tremonti.
Right.
Yeah, me, John Dacre, Brent Bracken, and Ben Carter.
I know these names.
Yeah, and we were all in a band in a garage. We never really played any gigs, but we were in a band, and then we realized how good he was. We're like, we got to get rid of him. He's going to kick me out. I was a horrible front man. And but that was crazy. They got big. And the music that came through Tallahassee, I was at the Dead Ahead down in Mexico, and I saw Derek Trucks. And I go backstage because I had access to go backstage, and I go up to Derek Trucks. And I was like, I saw you as a child play at Floyd's. I didn't realize he played with Warren Haynes. He was, and who I had on the podcast. And Derek Trucks was I was maybe a little aggressive. I was a little drunk. Maybe I bum rushed him. Maybe. All I know is Sturgill Simpson just walked away. He was like, "Good meeting you, bud." And so, but it's the amount of talent that came through Tallahassee was insane.
It was mind blowing. And side note, one of our biggest gigs in my heart and memory and mind is on the SAE porch at Haunted Block.
Oh my God. I was at this.
I stood on top of the speakers singing Roadhouse Blues, and I could have died. I mean, I could have face planted on your porch and just broken my neck. But it was thousands of people.
Thousands. There were 3 fraternities, ATO, KA, and SAE. I was an ATO, Sonny was a KA, and Schmitty was an SAE.
Yeah.
And we'd all group together, we'd all throw our money in together, and we'd get one band, and it was you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we were cheap. We were probably $500 or less, 200. And we set up on the porch, and at some point, we had the attention of most of this crowd.
Yes.
And it was incredible because it was our first year playing. It was 91. And we had played the pub and Yanni's was a board game coffee house then.
Yeah.
And we were playing the Res, which was another Bladder Bust thing.
Yeah.
And Haunted Block was a big deal. Yeah.
Who do you remember seeing as a fan of music in Tallahassee at the time?
Well, all of our buddies were really successful. All of the Zombie Birdhouse and the Groove Merchants and Real Men, we all played these cover gigs. But there was a really cool band called Flanders that came out of Tallahassee, and they played the Cow House, like a lesser known like indie band, and they were killer. And then all the guys in Creed, a couple of them went the first version of that called Maddox Creed, like Brian Marshall and I think Tremonti or Scott Phillips, but a couple of the guys. And I think Brian Brazier was in that band too, who works with Sonny now. It's just a little tiny world.
It's crazy how enmeshed it is. I saw at the Cow House, because the Cow House was over. Right now, that's where all of Tallahassee is where the Cow House was.
Right. It moved.
Yeah, it moved.
Yeah.
At the Cow House in I'm guessing 90. Oh, I was before I went to Russia. So I'd say 93 or 94. 94, I saw Dave Matthews at the Cow House.
He came back to Late Night Library in 95. And I didn't go.
You didn't go?
I think I had a gig, but I really wanted to go because I had bootlegs in 91, 92 of him.
Yeah. My
buddies who were in school in Virginia were sending me, you got to fucking check out this guy. I mean, and I was into it, but I missed it. And I heard it was miserably attended, like 15 people. No one knew what was going on. And maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, Dave Matthews. I saw the Indigo Girls at the Moon. They're one of my all-time favorites.
It's one of the first songs I ever learned how to play.
Yeah.
Closer to Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. And I always wanted to write music like them, really heartfelt and moving. I'll bet they inspired Lazy Man in a weird way.
I was with someone, I wish I could remember who. It had to be, I was at Widespread Panic at Red Rocks, and I was sitting in. This was a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
and I'm friends with Dwayne Trucks.
yeah.
And Dwayne and I were doing a shot with my wife, and the Widespread Panic's manager we're in his office at Red Rocks, and I said, I saw so many great bookings at the Moon. And I said, there almost should be an award that goes to a guy like the booker of the Moon, who has his finger on the pulse of good music and brings good music into a college town. Because so many times that isn't the case. And the guy immediately goes, the Booker of the Moon, and he knew his name, and he's like, he's a great guy. But I mean, I saw so many. What was the name of the Cowboy Junkies?
Yeah.
Lead singer had missing a tooth, and he was a drummer. The lead singer was a drummer, and he's just spitting beer everywhere. God, I saw so many great bands.
Sonny and I went to see the Lemonheads there. It was an epic show. We saw a bunch of stuff there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still there.
So then tell me what happened to Brighter Shade in like 1997.
So basically at the end of 94, Sonny left the band and was worried about like the future and like, he was second guessing music.
Yeah.
And I started playing with Andy Birdsall, and Andy is the first guy that we started going by the name Brighter Shade. It was a duo, and Indigo guys, like
Indigo guys.
And he harmonizes like a bat out of hell. He's a great singer. He lives in Atlanta too. And we added drums and bass, Sean and Marcus. And then in 96, we put out a CD.
I'm dying to see this. I'm sure I had it.
And we redid Lazy Man.
Yep. Yep. God, CD. Pete, do you know what this is?
I know.
Shut up. God.
It's a coaster.
Oh, that's great. I had that CD.
Yeah.
That's, and so then you were still in Tallahassee at the time?
No, we left in 95.
Came to Atlanta?
Came to Atlanta because the Olympics were here in 96. We thought Atlanta would be poised to blow up. And 20 years later, it did.
What a different city this is than 20 years ago. I mean, it is. I was here for the Olympics.
Yeah.
I was working here. I left very quickly, but I came to work for the Olympics. Yeah. And in the area we were staying, they'd put us, is now where we're staying. And it's been completely gentrified.
Buckhead. Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
So in the 90s, Buckhead was like Bourbon Street. It was dingy bar next to upscale regentrified restaurant next to shithole next to dingy bar. And it was like you could throw a rock and hit an acoustic guitar player.
Yeah.
And we saw so many people playing in that area that we just started hanging out there, and the gigs started flowing in for covers. And in the 90s, that's what we were making a living doing. We were putting out records in 96. 01 is the second Brighter Shade record. I'm recording all of this because I had a knack for it. And we moved around the city a good bit. Our recording technology improved. I got on Pro Tools in 99.
Now, what is recording in 99? I'm trying to remember because I remember it. I'm sure the technology's changed insanely. But back in the day, what was it?
That is my 8-track reel-to-reel recorder. It's a 1/2-inch tape, and you put spools on it, and it does the analog thing, but it's only 8 tracks. In the late 90s, I got an ADAT, which is a VCR tape, and you pop it in there.
Okay.
And if you had an ADAT, we could link them with a cable, and we'd have 16 tracks. And if Pete has an ADAT, we have 24.
So I had a DAT recorder.
Yeah.
That was, and it was like crazy. You'd put the mic in and you'd hear everything.
Yeah.
It was so wild. And I had it for stand up.
Yeah.
And I'd bring it with me. It was like $800 or something.
Yeah.
But it was the little tapes.
Yeah. You could, because it was recording digitally and a digital audio tape, and you wouldn't get this analog head noise.
Yeah.
So you could hear everything. And we would mix down to a DAT and take it to someone else to master and print CDs.
Wow.
But from ADATs, and we had 4 of them at one point, 32 tracks, and we went to Pro Tools, and that opened up a million possibilities because you could now look at your screen and move audio around, and you could see the waveforms.
Yeah.
And so you'd sing something and be like, that's what that looks like. And I'm going to cut it at this word and move it, you know?
Yeah.
The new revolution in recording was that time in the 90s. And now everyone has Pro Tools on their laptop or Logic or any number of DAWs that are incredibly effective and efficient.
Yeah. It's crazy that I have what a Garage Band.
Yeah.
And I used to do my podcast on Garage Band.
It totally works. You could record an album on Garage Band.
Yeah. It's wild. And then at one point I started when I started editing video, I would take songs that I like. There's a great, well, wake up in the evening, let the midnight special.
Yeah.
I had
Shine a light on me. Yeah.
I had a video that I wanted to, because the open to that song so beautiful, but it was a titch long for this video. And it was the first time I understood editing. Like I was doing a video about like, everyone wonders how I can party and I still go out and get on the treadmill. Well, it's about the music. And I hit the music and then I listen to it, I get on the treadmill, and then I start running, but it was too long. So so what I did is I put it in GarageBand and I pulled out a whole section, but connected it, and it sounded like the song. And I was like, it was like a game changer for me. And then I was like, wow, if I'm doing this, imagine what someone that knows what they're doing is doing.
Yeah. I mean, we can do anything now.
Yeah.
And especially with AI, you could take a bunch of samples of your voice and cut a Randy Travis song and put your voice on it. I mean, It's insane. It's almost scary because we feel like we might be replaced at some point, you know. And what's that new AI band that is out there? They're totally fake, and they're like Americana rock.
Oh,
I don't know. But I've heard the song and I was like, sounds like a band.
Yeah.
And it's totally fake, and they made a picture, and I mean, it's insane.
It's funny. AI can replicate comedy, but not great comedy.
Right.
Great comedy is AI will never figure out. Like you can, like it's funny. I was at breakfast with my wife the other day, and I said to like Chat GPT, I was like, hey, what would Bert Kreischer talk to his wife about at breakfast? And it was spot on what I would say. And I was like, wow, how predictable have I gotten?
Well, it can make great music too. It can make music too, but not great music. Yeah. But the lowest common denominator of people who listen to music and enjoy comedy, it might be okay for them if they're just in the background and that's a funny joke.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're not really into it. It's going to entertain millions without us.
This show is sponsored by Liquid IV. Whether you're soaking up the last bits of summer or gearing up for those back to routine vibes, capture sun-drenched memories with the Orange Vanilla Dream Hydration Multiplier from Liquid IV. This nostalgic vanilla flavor with notes of candied orange can help you hydrate better than water alone. Just one stick and 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. Powered by Live Hydroscience, an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turns ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, and always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. And let me tell you something, hydration is the most important thing. If without it, it affects your brain and your liver. And so if you stay hydrated, if you're drinking water, and especially with Liquid IV, you are taking care of your health. I am telling you right now, I believe in hydration, and we are working outside all these last 2 months. We've been outside in Georgia heat, and I have been sucking down Liquid IVs. Savor the last, and by the way, I'm sleeping crazy great, and I guarantee you it's because of my hydration. I am certain it's because of my hydration. Savor the last bits of summer with Liquid IV. Tear, pour, live more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first order with code BERT at checkout. That's 20% off your first order with code BERT at liquidiv.com. I've got the best shirts in the world. That's right. True Classic. True Classic, it's never about the fit or the fabric. It's about helping you, the dude who's wearing the shirt, show up with confidence and purpose every single day. Their clothes fit where they should fit, around your arms, around your chest, and then they give you enough room in your middle section so you don't look fat and you don't baby doll tee. You get that tailored look without sacrificing comfort or blowing your budget. I'm telling you, I wear True Classic all the time, and every time I put it on, it makes me feel like I just got out of the gym. I mean, my arms are jacked only because of True Classic. Like I said, tailored where you want it, relaxed where you need it, no stiff fabrics, no BS, and their jeans fucking rock. Their jeans are awesome, and they look clean. You can wear them out to dinner, and here's the deal. You can get them at Target, you can get them at Costco, or if you'd like, you can go to their website, trueclassic.com/Bertcast to try them for yourself. I'm telling you right now, if you're a guy who doesn't want to wear a collared shirt, but you want to look nice when you go out, their jeans are slick. Their shirts are tailored perfect for your arms and your chest and fit perfect around the belly. And you can get them at Target, Costco, or trueclassic.com/Bert to try them for yourself. Trust me, you're going to love them. I'm going to see if I can ask this question right. Is it that me and you have an elevated sense of music, that we love certain things that maybe the average person who would like AI would be like, that's pretty good, I like it. Yeah. Whereas we would, because you've been in the room when you're writing a song, and I'm sure you've heard people write a song and you're like, that's not a good song. You're missing the thing. And I can't tell you what the thing is. Like there's a Widespread Panic song. I wish I had my readers on. There's a Widespread Panic song that I couldn't get. I love my wife. I think my wife has great taste in music, but at times it goes by her. Yeah. And I go, you're missing. Mine
too. I mean, my wife has great taste in music, but we're hypersensitive to the entertainment rig.
Let me see if I can, hang on. Climb to Safety. Climb to Safety. Let me see if I can find the lyric on this, because
that groove is already stinky.
Hang on. Oh, the lyric is, it's no fun to die alone. And I just was like, I start crying. Yeah. My wife's like, what are you crying about? And I was like, don't you get it? Like, don't you get the lyric? Don't you get it? And then there's music that I look at and I go, I would never buy a ticket for that show. Yeah. But then there's music that I buy tickets for that not everyone buys tickets for.
Right.
And I go, so then is it that I can taste the bitterness in the fine cheese as opposed to everyone likes Velveeta? Like, as a songwriter, there has to be times where you look at an audience and you go, they're not getting the good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that you can taste the bitterness, and not everyone can. And, it's like we play these private events, and everyone is so gracious, and the spread is amazing, and we've got incredible, generous hosts, and they've brought in the Zac Brown Band, which is this Grammy Award-winning, multi-platinum powerhouse.
And it's an all-star band.
Yeah, and you've got 5,000 people in this room, which is about a fourth of what we normally play. We're normally 20 to baseball stadium, like 35, and of those 5,000 people, 2,500 of them don't fucking like music at all. You want to put something on? No, I don't. I like it to be fucking quiet.
Yeah.
So 20 of those 2,500, 20% listen to country. The rest of them are into jazz and rock and pop. 50 are into pop because their kids listen to it.
Yeah.
And so in a room of 5,000 people, 800 even fucking know who we are. And of those 800, half of them don't like us because we're not their kind of country.
Yeah.
So it gets so specific, and we'll be like, I like my chicken fried. And I think the bitterness and the cheese is where that lies.
Yeah.
Because we have this one curated thing that we arguably do better than anyone.
Yeah.
And then the world is so big and so diverse, and we're never going to reach everyone. But I'm hopeful that you and I will always have a position in our fields, because no one in AI can do stand-up. No one in AI can sit here with a guitar and make you feel right in front of you. And that human element will never go away. I am worried about robotics eventually taking lots of jobs. And I mean, when are you going to get your AI lawyer? I'm looking one up, and it's like we call on contract stuff and we'll enlist ChatGPT, and it's like, wow, that's fucking really intricate and dynamic what it told me to look for.
Yeah.
So
there's a nuance. This is one of my favorite AI stories as of late. My buddy who's producing my TV show, his son and his son's best friend were working on my TV show. And they're young. They don't have a car, and they can't rent a car. So they have to take an Uber or a taxi to work. And one day they go to get an Uber, and it gives them a Waymo. And so they get into a Waymo. For those of you who don't know, Waymo is a driverless car. It is a computer.
Coy and Matt took one of those. I'm sure it was terrifying.
They got into the church parking lot where we had staging. We had base camp. And the church parking lot was a church that was built probably in, 1960. It's a complicated parking lot. There's one way in. There's a huge parking lot. There's now a playground in the middle of it. And then there's one way out. And the Waymo got confused. And the Waymo couldn't figure its way out of the parking lot. And it was just going backwards and forwards in the driveway. And it clogged up the entire production. We had to start late because no one could get around this Waymo.
Wow.
And it was just going back and forth. And someone was like, who the fuck took a Waymo to work? And these two 15-year-old kids are like, just don't say a word. But it's when you say like, if you have a robot that can play guitar, it can probably play competently, as good as any, what you would say, studio musician. But can it write the song that makes your heart feel a certain way?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. It can't play guitar the way it makes your heart feel a certain way.
Yeah.
So we'll find out, you know, 'cause there will be fucking robots playing guitars, and we will be there to witness it.
And there will be, I would love to get an AI sidekick on my podcast to just listen and just chime in. So when did the dismantling of Brighter Shade happen? And I would love to know the progression from you moving to Atlanta to you to Zac Brown, because that was like probably the coolest Easter egg I've ever gotten in my life.
Right.
Was to see one of my favorite musicians in a band that was huge, and I was like, shut the fuck up. I remember saying to people, because we went out and watched you guys play that night. I think it was at Titan Stadium or something.
Yeah.
And I remember.
CMA.
Oh no, we went up to the top.
CMA Fest.
Yeah. We went up to the top and we were in the thing, and I was obnoxious that I just was like your hype man. I was like, you have no idea. The guy playing bass is the best musician I've ever seen in my life. That's how good this fucking band is. I go, no. He's a great singer. Like I go, the reason these songs are so great, I guarantee you, he's written some of these songs. And everyone we were in a box with all the people at Scripps Network, and they were like, enough about this John Hopkins.
Yeah.
But I'm curious of how that got to there.
Well, Brighter Shade was still working in the Buckhead area, and at some point in the late 90s, I took on an open mic gig on Tuesdays. It was $100 and all the Jim Beam I could drink.
Where was it at?
CJ's Landing.
Okay.
I've got pictures in that scrapbook I can show you later. But that's where I met Zac. He was 20 years old. I was 27. He came into CJ's to play my open mic, and he couldn't even drink a beer, you know. And he was great. He was young. He was green. I saw him. We stayed acquainted, but I saw him 3 years later in 2001. And he needed a place to record, and I had a studio downtown. And he started recording at my place, and we're all scrapping for money, you know. At one point, he brought me a mini fridge, and he's like, can I get some studio time for this? He brought me a PS2. He brought me a Gibson guitar, and, you know, some cash. Some weed, you know, and anything that could make the record. And so he has always been a go-getter. And even in his very early 20s, because by then I'm 30 and I'm nose to the grindstone in the studio, Brighter Shade made that record at the same time. So Brighter Shade was still going on, but we weren't playing that many gigs. And I named my studio, you're in Brighter Shade.
Yeah.
I named my studio Brighter Shade because I own the name, and it became a great studio name. And I've always enjoyed the name because it's looking for light in the darkness. And it reminds me, not to interrupt, but it reminds me of, and I didn't get this song, and I regret to say this, but I didn't get this song until recently because I'm a real deadhead. But Touch of Grey, yeah,
it always reminded me of the same Brighter Shade
Yeah.
has the same thing of like in every silver line, there's a touch of gray. It's to take the negative space and highlight the negative space. I loved Brighter Shade. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great oxymoron as well. And anyway, Zac and I finished this record in early 2000s, and 2005 in February, he came in with Sean Mullins to record the beginnings of Toes. And he, as he was leaving, he said, I'm looking for a bass player. My last one didn't work out. And I had been playing bass, but, you know, I'm a front guy guitar player, saw it in half, sort of acoustic. And I had been playing a lot of bass in a Hank Williams play that I was in. And it's so weird. I was in a play about Hank Williams, and I joined the Zac Brown Band, and I already knew, you know, all of his songs and all the covers he was playing except a few. And I showed up and I said, I'll just sit in until you find someone because I'm busy in the studio. And right away, our harmonies were insane.
Really?
And in 2 months, because he stopped looking, and in 2 months, I said, I mean, if you're not looking, I'm going to stick around because this is fucking next level.
Could you feel it?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And my drummer, my Brighter Shade drummer, was his drummer. The guy on the foundation is Marcus Petruska, who played on that record. And so Marcus and I were locked in immediately. And when Chris Fryer joined the band, I was a big part of saying, he's the dude, you know, because I'm playing bass at the time. So that's how it developed. And we started playing bigger and bigger shows. We got radio. And when Chicken Fried went number one, everything changed.
Wow.
You know, it was and that was like 2008. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I remember the day I fell in love with Zac Brown.
Yeah.
It was the day he got arrested. That's when I was like, that's my guy. I was like, I like him. I like it. And I saw him recently at a Grateful Dead thing. I forget. I was presenting.
Yeah. What was that? I heard about him going to do that. Was that a Bob Weir thing?
Yeah, it was Bob Weir.
Yeah.
It was, I ran into him and I'm horrible with celebrity, but if I have a connection with a celebrity, I'm even worse. Like I'm not the kind of guy to not tell you everything I think about you when I see you, all in a complimentary way. And I saw him walking with the, you know, shirt unbuttoned, the hat on, the beard, the fucking.
He's so fucking hot right now.
Yeah. And I just jump out and I go, I was like, Zac Brown. He's like, yeah. I go, I'm Bert Kreischer. I think he knew who I was. I can't remember, but I was like, just so you know, a long time ago, I said, I saw you guys at CMAs, and he goes, oh yeah. He goes, I said, I'm friends with John. And then immediately Marcus King showed up. And I was like, Marcus? And he goes, what are you doing here? And I was like, wait, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm playing with Zac. That was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That was fucking amazing.
He's the next level.
Marcus is, I have a crazy connection with Marcus.
Yeah.
I really love that guy. I really, really genuinely love him. He came to my house one time after he fell off the wagon. And I always drank. And he was like, I could use a drink. And we were going to do a podcast. So I was like, well, I'll drink with you. We drank together. And that night he was like, are you drinking tonight? I wasn't, because I was presenting. Yeah. So I don't drink if I have to work, I don't drink. I was like, no. And he's like, cool, we'll hang out. So we ended up sitting in a parking lot until like 2 a.m. He was smoking cigarettes and talking to me and Leanne. He's the sweetest guy in the world. This is an ad by BetterHelp. These days, it feels like there's advice for absolutely anything. If you get online, you're going to get advice about cold plunges, about saunas, about gratitude journals, about screen detoxes. But how do you know what actually works for you? With the internet and information overload about mental health and wellness, it can be a struggle to know what's true and what actions to take these days. Using trusted resources and talking to live therapists can get you personalized recommendations and help you need to break through the noise. I have been in therapy since I was like 44. So for straight 8 years, I've been in therapy. And I'll tell you right now, it is the one thing I can count on that gives me a little reprise. When I lay in bed and my brain goes into overload and it goes into overdrive, what I do sometimes is I sit up and I write down these thoughts. And then I know that I have someone that is a real person, not an app I can plug it in, not some trick, a real person that will listen to me and help me figure out my problems. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it is convenient. It is the only reason I suggest you use them, because I did in-person therapy and it didn't work for me because I would get frustrated. With BetterHelp, you can join a session with the therapist at the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. Plus, you can switch therapists at any time. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Bert. That's betterhelp.com/Bert.
I have a podcast called Under the Influence with John Hopkins, and Marcus was a guest, and he was the first sober guest I've ever had, because it's all about your favorite cocktail, which I will present for the podcast, and then we start drinking them. And we listen to your 12 favorite, most influential songs.
Wait, when am I going to be on this podcast?
I mean, you got to go.
We should have a cocktail and listen to one of your favorite songs.
We're fucking set up. Yeah, I mean, sky's the limit today, whatever you want to do. And Marcus was the first one on there that he was on the wagon, and it was still a wonderful hang time with him. He's a great dude.
What's it like being in a band that explodes?
My daughter was born in 2008. So I went home for about a month, and we had actually Matt Mangano, who is our bass player now. He came and filled in for me, and I was home for about a month. And when I left, we were opening for Los Lonely Boys at the Orange Peel in Asheville. When I got back, we had security.
Wow.
A month. And Chicken Fried was in the top 10 then. I'm going to get the numbers wrong, but it was top 10 or top 5. It was blowing up. And when I got back, what seemed like overnight, a month later, I'm like, who are these guys? And they're like, well, we had trouble last week getting to the stage, because we just would walk out of the van and, walk through the crowd, and everyone would stop us. So fast forward to 2009 at the CMA Awards, where we played Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yeah.
And we got standing O's and all that for a cover, And that was another building point. Grammy for Best New Artist was another major highlight. I had my drummer now, Mike Rizzi, was like in LA at the time, and he's watching the Grammys. He's like, what the fuck, that's Hopkins? He didn't know I was in the band either. And it's been an incredible ride. I've been in 20 years now, and it doesn't seem that long. But when I think back to those days, it does seem like a lifetime ago. But 20 years goes by pretty fast.
You're telling me.
Yeah.
Wait, what was it like the first time? I mean, someone asked me the other day, how do you write a joke? And I said, I'll show you. And I forget this. It was a stupid joke I wrote. I forget what it was. But I told them that's how a joke works. I wish I could remember because it was. I was like, and I was like, that's how a guy writes a joke, like a regular person. I write jokes differently, and I was like, I tell more stories. So for me, it's got to be a thing that it builds, and then it's not the first thing, and often it's not the first thing for like a year. But then one day you find a new part, and you're like, that's the thing. I'm curious about songs that are so popular, like Chicken Fried. What was that song? Tell me about the birth of that song, the evolution of that song, and like all of it. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, that song was on the first record that Zac and I did together after CJ's. And so that song and Whatever It Is were the only two songs that eventually, and Junkyard, were the only songs that made it onto Zac Brown Band records. That first album was Zac Brown. He was signing CDs, ours, and selling them, and they had click track on them. I'm like, you can't sell this shit. And he's like, I'm making money. And people would bring them back on occasion, like, this sucks. Like, it's not a mix, it's the rough.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Chicken Fried has been in our wheelhouse for a long time. In fact, another band cut it, and then we had to kind of get it back.
Yeah.
So, it's been through some drama, but it has always been the most honest representation of what Zac Brown Band is. And all the things, and it's still the number one most recurrent song in our catalog, because you never forget your first, I guess. Yeah. And it's just this enduring hit. And it went number one, but it went number one after like 30 or 40 weeks on the top 40. So it was being spun for almost a year before it went number one.
Wow.
And that's how people know it so much. And it continued to grow, even though it only spent a week or two at number one. It continued to grow over time. We've had 14 number ones in country radio. And these days we don't even service radio because it's all about placement and streaming.
Yeah.
And radio and country is still big, but it's expensive. And we're finding that the future is in streaming, and that's where we exist right now.
Wow. Yeah. That's fascinating. It's such an undeniable song. So let's talk a little bit about ALS. Part of me was like, I don't want to talk about it at all, but I think it, because in a weird way, it's something like that. It's not a happy disease. I mean, like out of all the diseases, it's like the least fun.
Think of a fun disease.
Like AIDS isn't that bad anymore. I'd much rather have AIDS than
it's fun. I think it's fun getting AIDS. It's not fun to have it. But when you get AIDS, and that's a really good point, because it used to be a death sentence. And what we need ALS to be is to go the way of HIV. And like, I'm sorry you have HIV. Take this, change your diet. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the future of HIV.
It was, you've said this. I'm reiterating what you've said, but it was so rare and little studied that when Lou Gehrig got it, they just called it Lou Gehrig's disease. Because that's how, I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that was 85 years ago.
Wow.
I mean, and we have a few drugs that slow progression, but nothing that fixes it. It is a death sentence. And for the record, I never wake up wanting to talk about ALS either.
Yeah.
But this is something, and I'm so glad that you're allowing me to speak on it, and we'll touch on it and move on. ALS has a 3 to 5 year life expectancy after diagnosis. I was diagnosed with ALS in December of 2021, which means in December, I will be 4 years with ALS, and I still have total control of my body. And I'm speaking, singing, on tour. I'm an anomaly.
Yeah, that's is it because they found it early?
It could be. If the next time I see you, I'm in a wheelchair, then yes. But I'm hopefully on a slow progression, and there are a number of us that are on slow progression. The vast majority show real decline in a year, 18 months. This friend of mine, Della Larson, was diagnosed after me and gone in 20 months. She was gone in January. I'm like, what the fuck,
dude,
is going on? And for me, being able to speak and talk about it is a way to further generate awareness and explain to people how curable we believe it is. It just needs to be researched more. What's the next thing I say about it without fucking making everyone cry? I think in 2022, in May, my wife and I started Hop On a Cure with the help of my manager, Courtney, and now it's a really powerful, small but mighty 501c3. Our goal is to fix it. Our goal is to make everyone who has ALS, and it's not just ALS, it's motor neuron disease, which is dementia, Alzheimer's, ALS, Parkinson's, everything that changes your motor neurons to make your body stop functioning. ALS stands for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, and in Europe they call it motor neuron disease, MND, which is probably more palatable. Amyotrophic might be the better scientific way of dealing with it, but basically my motor neurons are retracting from my muscles, making it harder to speak, and I speak a lot slower than I used to. And the soft palate between my nose and my throat is weaker. So my tone has changed. And I get tired really fast. But otherwise, you know, I may have trouble opening that CD, but I can wing it across the room.
Yeah.
You know, like there are different things about my progression that some people just, their whole left arm dies. You know, and they're like, I don't know why. And and atrophy and all that. And it happens quickly. It's called the cruelest disease for a reason, because cognitively you're still there and you're watching your body become a prison. So many incredible people are living with this horrible thing and still writing books and still being leaders in the fight. I mean, like Steve Gleason, who was a former New Orleans Saints safety. He made a dynamite save that turned the whole city around after Hurricane Katrina. And he's been in a chair for 10 years. And he's still a super badass, you know? And I look at people like that who are truly making a difference. And I want to be able to make an impact while I'm still handsome and vibrant and energetic, you know? I can't jump up from this couch, but I can stand up on my own and walk across the room, and it looks like shit, but I can't run, but fuck it. I'm still singing it, so I'm still bringing it, you know, and that's what I say all the time. And until I can't, I will.
How long did it take for you to, I don't know if there's a right word, but how long did it take for you to like accept it? Like, I imagine the diagnosis is so scary.
I still haven't accepted it.
Really?
In 2019, I went to the doctor and they said, you have a lot of plaque in your vessels and you need to go on statin drugs. And within months, my right hand on the guitar, I'm like, I can't do this bluegrass double time like I'm supposed to. I can still do it, but what the fuck? And by March of 2020, I looked at the band and said, something is wrong with me. And then COVID, 18 months of nothing.
Yeah.
And not even going to the doctor. And at the end of COVID, I got back on the road and my walking was fucked and my hands, both hands were slow. And I'm like, this is not right. And I went back to my doctors in December and they ruled ALS. And I had already seen 2 neurologists, and this was the 3rd one. Right then, right when they tell you have 3 to 5 years to live, the whole world falls apart. You know, like my wife was really emotional and crying, and I'm like looking it up. I'm like, you know, ice bucket, this and that. So I remember that.
Is that the ice bucket challenge?
Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
God,
and I'm like, that's the first time I remember hearing it. We had heard Lou Gehrig's disease forever. And then in 2014, when the ice bucket challenge happened, I put together that those were the same, but I still didn't know what it did to people. And I'm looking at the doc and I'm like, that's really bad, right? And I called my dad, who's a retired physician, and I told him, he said, shit. And Dad, that's not his reaction ever.
Yeah.
He's always like, well, what you need to do, son, is get in the program with the blah. And he was just like, nothing you can do with that, you know?
Yeah.
And so then I went to Callaway Gardens to go see the Christmas lights with my kids. And I'm on the Jolly Trolley. And it's raining cats and dogs. And I'm like, Jingle bell, jingle. Oh my God. And my wife is, we're both, and the kids are, and so the next month was hell. I got so little sleep that I thought I was dying right then. My body didn't function. And I was looking for anti-anxiety meds, and I've never been on anything like that. I've been angry. I've been sad. I've been overly happy. I've had the whole emotional spectrum all my life, but I've never felt crippling anxiety until then. I'm like, oh, that's what this is. Fear of dying.
Yeah.
And leaving my kids behind, not just lights out. I mean, who can do anything about that? But thinking about my kids having to be without me was crippling. And I've got 3 beautiful daughters, and they're all teenagers. And I'm like, weddings, grandkids, all that is not going to happen for me. And so creeping on 4 years with ALS, and I know people who have had it for 21 years, and are still walking with a walker,
Yeah.
There are cases that I hope to be like, I have a better understanding of what my progression probably looks like. And to your original question, I have learned to deal with that. But I've had 3 years, and I'm on Wellbutrin,
Yeah.
and I need something. I went off it a couple months ago, and I didn't get sad, but I became very irritable and grumpy, and I wasn't nice to be around. So I'm back on it because I went off because I don't like being on a bunch of medications anyway.
Yeah.
I'm on a new diet now to try to curb some of these, and it made me grumpy and angry. And so not the same reason I went on it. But we do what we can.
God. Yeah, it's so funny. I'd never realized what your health issue was until recently.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think when I said to Zach, I said, how's John doing? He goes, great. I was like, good. I was worried about him. And he was like, yeah, no, he's doing great. He's playing, he's fucking singing.
Yeah. Yeah. And people who know ALS are shocked that I'm still doing anything. At the point where people have to go on respirators and feeding tubes and all that, a lot of people make the decision not to do that. And they go into hospice and they pass as peacefully as they can. And some people don't have the funds to do that. It costs $250,000 a year to stay alive with ALS. Just all the nursing, all the transfer. I mean, you can't get in your own bed. You can't do anything. It's like keeping this meat sack alive, and you're telling people what you want and need, and you can't do anything to help them get it for you. It truly is brutal, and we're hoping that I never have to go through that. But my heart goes out to everyone that's going through that now and has the grace to keep going and the strength and courage to share their own stories in the way that they have to exist now. You can tell my speech is getting worse because when I talk a lot, it does, but I don't give a fuck.
Stephen Hawkins lived forever.
Yeah, that dude was like 70-something, 78. I mean,
I think he cheated on his wife, didn't he? I really think he cheated on his wife.
I would love to know that.
I'm almost certain I'm the last person. Oh,
that had to be a pen pal relationship.
But yeah, that's the part. I talk about death a lot, too much, not enough. I think everyone's going to deal with it.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. It's almost a curse that we got to live it all. It was. I liked the void when I didn't know about Hitler, but it is the thing that kills me is my girls. That's what I think about. They'll be fine. I don't know about Isla, but Georgia will be fine. She'll take care of Isla. I kind of hope my wife dies first. I'd like to outlive her, but it's yeah.
That's terrible.
So, and you can still play.
Yeah.
Is there any way that we could close this podcast out with you playing Lazy Man?
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. Oh. And wait, can you drink on ALS?
Yeah. My doctor has officially said that he recommends that people don't. And the new diet I'm on is the Dean Ornish heart recovery diet, which is where I started with this whole fucking health journey.
Yeah.
I started with plaque. So Dean Ornish has this diet that has been proven to reduce heart disease, to reverse heart disease. So I'm hoping that
a low-fat, plant-based diet designed to prevent and potentially reverse heart disease.
Yeah.
Whole fruits, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, while limiting. My vision's so bad.
Yeah.
I can't see.
I just got new eyes. Really? I recommend it.
Oh.
Do you wear contacts?
No.
Yeah.
I can't. One day it just went, and now it's like, I can't read. I can barely see anything. I am on a predominantly meat-based diet, but I got to a point. There was a guy. I wish I could remember his name. You know him. I'm sure you know him. It's. I wish I could remember his name. I met him at that same festival I saw you at, and he was like, he goes, I have a rule: nothing out of a box. Nothing out of a box. And I was like, whatever. When I heard it, that was probably 10 years ago, more than that, probably 15 years ago. And then I started realizing, I kind of want to live that way too. I want to see what I'm going to eat. I don't want to just open it. I want to see it. And so I got on a high protein diet, like a carnivore diet, but I don't think that's great for your heart. But
And this diet that I'm on it for 9 weeks, and then we'll see. But it does allow for small amounts of alcohol and caffeine, but no fat, no oil, no sugar, and that is counter to the Mediterranean that I've been preaching.
Yeah.
And no process, nothing in a box. I'm totally with you on that. I fucking hate plastic with a passion. I drink out of glass. Or stainless steel.
Or I'm a big Liquid Death guy. The canned beer, canned water.
Yeah. And I think we are poisoning ourselves with all this bullshit in our food, and we got to do better. But, I'll let you know how it goes, but I grew up in the South. I love my burgers and steaks and chicken fried, and, all that. And I will see how this affects my heart. I think it's going to be amazing, and I think I'm going to go that direction, and then maybe, unless modifying it fucks it up.
It'd be great if you found that this diet also pulled, like if there's dietary things that help with ALS.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing is like.
That's the whole thing is Sanjay Gupta just said this whole thing on CNN about this diet helps with Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or dementia or one of the ones that's related.
Yeah.
So there is a brain health element that I need to accept when I'm pissed about being a vegan. Because, I'm a big green egg guy. I want to smoke a butt right now. And I love it. And I obviously love it, man. I've only been on this week and I'm dropping weight already.
That's great.
ALS is not supposed to drop weight, but I have no atrophy, so
that's great.
We're gonna monitor it, and if it starts to fuck with me, I'll drink milkshakes again.
Yeah. Well, Peter, you okay? What do we need? What do we need to play this?
I need my Takamine woodpecker guitar.
Wait, is there any way I can get a glass of whiskey?
Oh yeah. By the way, this song is at the time, it was the angriest song I had ever written, because I wrote it about my dear friend, the bass player in Distant Relatives, who had let our gear note go by unpaid at Scott Tennyson's.
Scott Tennyson's.
Yeah. We were renting a PA, and I was just sitting there fuming because I gave him one job.
Yeah. This was the song. This is just, if we're going to do a really deep cut from Tallahassee, this was the song I was waiting for every night when they played. And the biggest hit they would play that would fucking turn the club upside down was Baby Got Back. And I would get angry at everyone that loved Baby Got Back, because I was like, they're guys, it's Lazy Man is the fucking hit.
Right.
Dude, they would destroy Baby Got Back.
I've got a good version recorded. So anyway, the tempo. I was in Newport, Rhode Island at the time, and I had this battery-operated clock, and I'm sitting on in my dorm room. We're working for this company called Shake a Leg. It's a body awareness training program for spinal cord injury victims, and we were part of this performing arts section of that. So it was a very gratifying summer, 4 summers up there. And I'm sitting there and I'm so pissed because I just got off the phone with a collection agency and my name's on the gear and blah. And so fucking mad. And I sit down in the room and the clock is ticking. This is probably what he's doing right now. Just listening to the fucking clock tick because he's not paying the bills. That's the easiest chord I know. What's the second easiest? And the third easiest, of course. G, C, and D. I'm a lazy man, nothing much to do. Why should it matter? It doesn't affect you. I got my feet propped up, nice chili brew. So turn your head. It doesn't affect you. Sitting in the lazy sun, smoking up the afternoon. Can't see a single car on Monroe Street where Scott Tennyson's was. There were cars on Monroe Street, but if you don't go to Monroe Street, you don't see any of them. So I widen my smile to the ladies passing through. Hi, ladies. Why should you care? Doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect you. Doesn't affect you. Turn the other way. Doesn't affect you. Doesn't affect you. Doesn't affect you. Turn the other way. Sure, there might be a couple of little projects just for me, but I can't see a reason to leave my chair. I feel right comfortable sitting right here. Sure, you say there's things to be done and people to see, but somebody else is always there. Indifference is deadly, but I don't care. Should I waste my time on worthless despair? Nah, forget it. It doesn't affect you. So leave me alone. doesn't affect you. Doesn't affect you. Doesn't affect you. Turn the other way. Doesn't affect you. Doesn't affect you. Doesn't affect you. Turn the other way. Doesn't affect you. 'Cause nothing affects you. Turn the other way.
I love that song.
Few little missteps there. Thank you.
God,
That's been a long time.
I love that song. Did you get crying?
Yeah, I'm crying.
I was crying too. I was crying too. It's such a fucking great song.
Thank you.
That's such a great song that has so many memories to me. That song is one of those songs that I could play by myself, and I felt like it brings me back to a moment. I can smell Tallahassee. Oh,
Yeah, that just brought me back. I don't play that one anymore because I don't know why I don't. I should bring it back.
God, man.
Maybe make a band version of it.
Indifference is deadly, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Should I waste my time on worthless despair?
Oh, forget it. It doesn't affect you. Oh, man, it's fucking...
Thank you, Bert.
God, man,
I appreciate
you
that,
are a
man.
gift to the world. You are
Wow.
a gift.
I appreciate you saying that. This is
And an absolute inspiration to hear you fucking... I mean, you're just so fucking... I'm so glad... You know, you make Zac Brown better because the fact that he found you, and I know how fucking perfect you are, that makes him just that much greater. Like that, you know, like he's very talented and amazing, but the fact that that you work with him, that you guys are a team, and that you've been together for so long, just makes him so much fucking cooler.
Thank you. And Zach is an incredible talent. But I will toot the band's horn a little, and you know, everyone in this band is handpicked by Zach to make the unit what it is.
So someone told me, I can't remember who. It might have been that night at the Grateful Dead. It might have been, I forget. There was so much talent there, and I was saying, you know, I always said my favorite musician is in that band, and they're like, you know, everyone's favorite musician is in that band. And I said, really? And they go, it is. They were saying, you have no idea that it is like the all-star band.
I mean, Clay Cook and John Mayer and Matt Mangano were all roommates at Berkeley. And Clay and John wrote a bunch of the No Room for Squares album that John broke out with.
Yeah.
And, you know, all the guys are incredibly talented. And now we have Caroline Jones in the band, which is a family friend of Zach's. And she's arguably, well, she definitely has more energy than all of us, but she's a sick guitar playing monster, and she's super hot, and she's super sweet, and her whole family. And so who knew that these roughnecks were going to bring a girl in and she would make us all a little kinder and gentler. But everyone in the band, top to bottom, is an amazing human being and an incredible talent.
Well, John, I just want to thank you for letting me come over to do this with you. This has been on my wish list for the second I found you. and I found you online, and I reached out and I was like, buddy, I would love to do a podcast with you.
Man, I'm so glad that we were able to do this, and that you're in Atlanta for a couple months. I hope we get to hang out again.
Yes.
And I had no idea that all that early time meant so much to you, and it really warms my heart.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So much happier to be sitting with you than Todd from Spider Monkey.
They were fucking awesome.
Just kidding, Todd. Just kidding, Todd. I'm just kidding. I just had to make that joke. That's just like, this is deep cuts and cuts. By the way, anyone from Spider Monkey, if you guys want to do a podcast, I will in a heartbeat.
There it is.
Fuck yeah, that was awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
This episode was brought to you by The Machine.